Shalom, as we are marking Independence Day in Israel, we're here next to what is expected to be a landmark in the capital of Israel, in Jerusalem. This is the new center of the Shalva organization, the Revolutionary Center, a beautiful structure, very big, very roomy, very colorful, but mainly it'll be filled with lots of love. But now we're off to the neighborhood of Har Nof, to the current center of Shalva, to understand what this organization is all about and how it was established.
We're at the current center of Shalva for individuals with disabilities from birth to adulthood and their families.
A word about the name, Shalva, how do you define that? How do you translate that word to English?
In one word, serenity. In more than one word, peace of mind. It's mentioned one time in the entire Bible. That's in Psalms 122, verse 7. May there be peace within your walls, Shalva in your palaces, serenity in your palaces.
What that's basically the main thing these kids need at this point.
The overriding feeling that we give children, siblings, parents, is that you're in good hands. Peace of mind. It's a complete package. The beginnings were in October 1977 when my 11-month-old son, Yossi, was taken for his second vaccine to the public health center here in Jerusalem.
He was healthy then, everything was regular?
Yossi was our second child, my wife Malki. Everything was not only regular, he was a beautiful, high-functioning infant, and the trouble was that for a number of months, unbeknown to the public, there was a bad batch of vaccine that they were coping with. Finally, 6 weeks after Yossi got his vaccination, it was canceled in the entire country, and Yossi, as a result, became blind, deaf, extremely hyperactive, and clearly our young lives got flipped on its head. It was very challenging, to say the least. Ultimately, some 7 years later, Yossi had an extraordinary breakthrough where a deaf woman here in Jerusalem, Shoshana Weinstock, in the deaf school, taught him the word table, fingers spelled in the palm of his hand, the Hebrew word shulchan. And like Helen Keller, he suddenly lit up and he got it, that this word shulchan was something she could spell in the palm of his hand. She understood, and I believe that was the miracle, that this educator understood the moment and realized it's changed.
So you're there and you have this really amazing kid. I knew him for years, saw him in the synagogue praying and everything, especially with all the technique of the sign language and all. And there's lots to take care of. What brings you to suddenly create this whole organization and start caring for others?
Well, it went far beyond that. As a result of her work with Yossi, another extraordinary speech therapist in the school crawled into his mouth for 2 years and taught him how to speak Hebrew synthetically, where he couldn't hear, but he spoke Hebrew. And that brought my dear wife to recall a promise she had made years earlier when many people with good intentions told her over the years to consider taking Yossi out of the house because it was impossible in their eyes to raise a family in any normal way with a child that couldn't hear, couldn't see, and was into everything. And in those days, Malki would cry and say, God, I didn't take Yossi with my own hands. He's a gift from you, and I'm certainly never putting him out of the house as long as I'm able. But if you ever decide to help our Yossi, I will dedicate my life to helping other mothers in similar situations. So when this happened, Malki sat me down and said very simply, it's payback time. I made a promise. I know exactly what I want to do to help other mothers, and I need your help. It took 2 years of writing letters to people who never answered me. And finally, from my hometown, Vancouver, Canada, a wonderful, wonderful man, Gordon Diamond, and his wife Leslie, decided that they would get us started, and we created a small nonprofit in a rented duplex. We called it Shalva, meaning peace of mind, Malki ran it from soup to nuts. I was working in the computer field, and we had 6 children. It was overwhelming with 2 staff, and what we didn't anticipate was the needs were so large. People banged at my door, and today, 26 years later, we service almost 600 children, families in 3 centers, and the government has now given us an enormous piece of land going back 9 years now, which we are completing with a national center to meet those needs. How are you doing? You enjoying yourself? You're so cute.
You're here managing, and do you find yourself coming and looking and, reminding yourself what's going on here?
I have no choice but to remind myself, because every guest that comes through here needs a tour. So yours truly sees this on a daily basis, and it is the absolute sobering element in my life where I get to see what it is we're working for every day and see the changes in children as time goes on, what they're gaining.
Well, how does Yossi relate to this whole project?
Yossi has moments when he gets down. Yossi's 39. When he has those moments, I always remind him of what came about as a result of his personal challenge, and that always gives him great strength. This is the synagogue. It is used all the time. It's a gift to the children of Shalva, who do it to the best of their ability, but the important thing to them is that they are part of the Jewish tradition, and they love that.
Like the famous Hasidic story, it's not about the words being said, it's about what's coming from the heart.
Well, I suggest you walk outside the synagogue and look at the image on the wall, and there you will see the exact image you just described on the wall, where my dear wife said the story of the letters going up to heaven, even though they may not be put together properly in words.
So there's lots of prayers here, and that must be very moving. I understand there's also celebrations in the synagogue.
Tremendous. It enables us to provide bar and bat mitzvot for children who otherwise would not have one. It means the world to their families, and it certainly means the world to our children.
So this is all very impressive, but as you're talking about the new building, I understand that we haven't seen nothing yet.
You're absolutely right. I wouldn't say nothing. This is very big, and for us this is a lot of years of whatever it takes to build this and maintain it. But yes, 9 years ago the government gave us a very large piece of land in order to expand services and be able to bring in so many more children and families in need. And we have built the enormous center. It will be a national center, and it will open, God willing, on September 1st of this year, and it will provide services to a larger array of children, of challenges, and thousands and tens of thousands of people will be served there and receive programs annually. Most importantly, it's an inclusive center where the parks are open to the public. The public will come and be part of everything we do. Our children will not be outsiders, they will be within the community. We are opening a early childhood center, which is a unique, inclusive early childhood center, opening with the city of Jerusalem together in September.
Now this is all happening thanks to the volunteers, thanks to your family, thanks to all the people working here, but also I understand friends of Shalva all over the world.
It's only in the merit of dedicated partners and friends of Shalva who have enabled us to bring this from a mom and pops with 6 kids to an internationally recognized organization. I'd like to take this opportunity to wish all of Israel a very happy Chag Sameach on Yom Ha'atzmaut, and an extraordinary Independence Day leading to greater and greater things for the people who live in Zion.